Here's an LAS file. It's not real well formatted, particularly the colons are not lined up in the header for easy readability. Also, the data is wrapped. The LAS standard no longer requires data to be wrapped. So it'd be nice to quickly format this rather than manually edit it. And we have some formatting options. We can format just the header or the entire document, header and data. And we've done that here. Now you see the colons and the parameter sections line up and the data gets unwrapped. So the file is formatted. And it's just much easier to browse through it and read it once it's been formatted. You can also add some numbering for the curves, starting at 1. In this case, there are 24 curves. If you move curves around, then those numbers will follow them, so you need to renumber. Press F6 here, and we're back to 1 through 24. So here's a particular problem, is when we format, something's goofy in the curve section because the LAS standard says that the last colon is the delimiter between the data and the description, but whoever did this file thought it was the first colon. So how can we fix that? Well, put the cursor next to that colon and press Control P, and that'll make it the last colon. But we have here an entire section that needs to be fixed. So just right click and select whether you need to go by position or number. And now it fixes the whole section. So when we do F4, everything lines up nicely. Looks like there was one mistake lurking there. So we'll just manually fix that and reformat, and it should line up perfectly as we want it. Sometimes you'll need to put a specific formatting string in the description to get the behavior you want on formatting. In this example, bit size is formatted as 8.5 with 1 decimal place because that's all that's needed. But if you want to force some extra zeros there, just put in a format string, curly braces, and then 0.2. And when you format, it'll format to 2 decimal places. Just remove it, and it goes back to its default behavior. Here we have date and time. These are in ISO 8601 formats as specified by the LAS standard. And we have the format strings there for hours, minutes, seconds. We'll want to have that there so when it formats it doesn't strip off that leading 0. So let's just remove that to demonstrate the problem. Format, and that leading 0 disappears, but of course we don't want to do that. We need that. So let's put that format string back in there and format, and then everything's good. The LAS standard currently does not require data to be wrapped. That's actually was in the older versions of the standard. If you need to wrap data, you can explicitly do so. You'll get some information the first time you do it, just to inform you why you really shouldn't have to do it, but you may have to do it to send this file, before sending this file over to an older program. So it's just letting you know what the deal is, and then it prompts you. Now the data is wrapped. Note that a lot of operations will format the document afterwards. So for example, if you need to change the order of curves or remove curves, here I'll just delete a curve and then click OK. After it does that, it reformats the document. By default, it unwraps the data. But you can always go back in and tell it that you need the data wrapped.